Welcome to Job Skills Share. Last video we installed VirtualBox, set up everything, and then we installed the central managing desktop central. The other thing you might want to do is to get a ISO for VirtualBox to run an operating system. So we need a client to play around with and to learn things. And for you guys to download a client, if you don't have it, you need an ISO file. It's like a basically you don't need like a physical CD, so you need to just get this ISO file. Now usually Windows doesn't come with CD anymore. They'll give you a built-in backup, or Microsoft provides the ISO, and then you can burn that to your DVD or other methods. So the way to get is you will go to Google, try Windows 8.1. This will take you to this link right here. And when you click on this link, you basically will get a sign in here, and you sign in with your Microsoft account. If you have live .live account, or Hotmail or Outlook, you should be able to get in here and download this ISO and test this Windows for 90 days. Now I have Windows 7 32-bit. Now usually most of the computers now come with 64-bit, so make sure you guys install the right system. So if you go to Start and right click and go to Properties, it will tell you what system are you using. I'm using 32-bit. Like I said, I'm using an old system, so I'm going to be keeping everything very low, because I am not going to be able to do a lot of testing if I go for like higher end stuff. So if you have a powerful machine, if you have more than 4 gigs of RAM, then go for a little bit better. If you have 64-bit and more than 4 or 8 GB, then go for 64-bit. You have to go to 64-bit and then install that on your ISO. So you click on continue. There are some other things that you need to click on, and then you click on download, and you will download a file like this, which I have it on my desktop. This one right here, which is 32-bit. It's about 2 gigs. It's going to take about 14 minutes. 15 minutes, and we'll have it. Now since I have 32-bit, I am going to open up my VirtualBox and click on new, and I am going to put Windows 7 client lab computer. So this is our lab computer. Remember, my main computer is where I'm working on. This is where I'm going to be managing this computer. So I am going to change this to Windows 7 32-bit here. If you have a 64-bit system, it's going to say 64-bit, and then you will need to choose that 64-bit. So make sure you do that. So Windows 7 32-bit, and I'm going to click next. 512 MB, which is fine. I mean, we just want to test things out, so I'm going to leave this the way it is. I'm going to leave everything the way it is, and click next, and I'll just leave 25 GB. I'll make it a little bit less, which we're not that worried, but don't make it 20. So that's it. Make sure now you right click on it, go to settings, and change the network settings. The reason is this, that since we're using our main computer, we need to use the same IP address for this machine, same network. So you're gonna have your main machine might have 10.0.0.4, and this would be 0.0.5. If it's something 198 or 198.168, something like that, then this should also have the same IP address, network address. So the reason is that we are going to be talking to each other, and that's how your labs are going to be configured too. So we will pick bridge adapter. It will pick my real adapter, and then I'm going to click OK. Now after this, I'm going to click on Start, and it will give me this option. Now I need to look for the ISO, which is on my desktop, right? I need to go to my desktop, and this is the ISO. This is the thing that you will download, and we'll say this much. So you need to make sure where you're downloading it. If you're using Firefox, Chrome, it usually downloads to your downloads folder right here. So I'll go ahead and click on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and start this installation. So Windows loading file. Now for some reason, let's say you get some errors and anything like that, make sure you keep a note of that error and go to Google and search how to fix that issue, because VirtualBox sometimes come with a lot of errors if it doesn't like, if you put something wrong in there, or maybe the system is you didn't you need to change the operating system files. Like for example, if I go to right click and go to settings, you probably need to work on system and then change something here, or maybe the processor, you need to enable this part right here. Stuff like that you need to find from Google, and that's a good test for you guys to go ahead and do a little bit searching on this. And it will basically I mean, I don't know exactly what error you're gonna get if you really get some errors. So you can ask me, and if I already know the answer, I'll try to help you. But the best way is to get the same error, paste it in the Google, and you will see a bunch of people have the same issues, and somebody say, oh, try this option, and everything is good. Now if you go back to your virtual system, right now our Windows is starting. It's gonna do the basic installation of Windows, and after this we're gonna do another step. So I'm gonna just pause this video and let this thing run. Click on accept, click next, and then click on customize. We'll pick the same disk that we put for VirtualBox. Click next, and then just leave it, and it will complete the installation. And we'll turn on the video again. Okay, so almost done. Let's restart now. I'm trying to pause this so I can save some time, and then we'll just wait for it to come up. So here's a little talking. Now in real world, when you have labs, for example, you have 20 computers or 10 computers, and you want to manage that from one computer in a workgroup environment. Now that computer in the workgroup, you can only, I believe it's 20 computers inside Windows. Sorry, I think it's, yeah, it's 20. I think it's 20. So you can basically manage from it. But actually no, it's 25, sorry. So with the software that we are installing right now, it has 25 limit. So we don't have 25 computers here to test. I mean, that's just not, I mean, not even realistic to do that on a virtual machine. But in real case, you just play around with one computer, and you do everything in it, and then you basically do the same with other ones. So in our case, it's the same thing. We're basically building this one computer. We are going to be getting all the asset management, patch management, deployment, testing on this computer, and then you do the same process on all other computers. It doesn't matter how many computers you have in that lab. So it could be 10, 5, 15, 20. You're doing the same thing with it, and that's one of the things about labs, that you just keep it. That's why people have images, so if something goes wrong after 3 months, they know they're not doing anything with it. They just put the image, update things, put a new image, update things, and that's how, most of the time, that's how it works in a school environment. Now it could be some other labs in a company, maybe you want to keep them up to date, and they're mostly on domain, so they're all also administered by administrators. So that's something I wanted to tell you guys. Other thing is that if you have an administrative password, it has to be same password. Now remember, it's a workgroup computer. You cannot manage workgroup centrally unless you have some other tools, but that's why we have Active Directory domain environment, where you have one computer, one domain computer, and it's basically managed by that Active Directory. So you don't have that ability right here. So what you need to do for this software to work, and any other software, you gotta have same administrative username and password. So you have let's say, for example, lab admin user account, and the password is also lab admin. So on this computer, the main computer, you will also need to have a username with lab admin and lab admin password. That's how most of the things are going to work. So if you have, what we're going to do, we're going to create a username in the master computer, which is our main computer, and then the client, which we're testing everything on right now, and we're going to put the same username and password in this machine too. So when we do things, it will work. If you have something wrong, if you put a wrong password, you might see it might not be working, because work groups are separate. It just match on its own. So while that's getting done, we're going to go ahead and add an administrator username. I went to computer, right click, and then I put manage in there. Right click and click on manage. If you're using Windows 8, which is you're not going to be seeing this, you probably have to right click and then click on manage computer. Or let me do something here. Let me just turn this, exit this, so you guys can see the same thing as I do. So you can see how old my system is, that I don't even have. Usually you will get the little sign right here that when you right click on it, and it will get you to the so here's, I'm getting that right now. Okay, so now what you have is local username. You need to add an administrator account, and I am going to right click and add a user here, and I'll name it lab admin, and password don't change. And this, remember, same username, same password on our test machine too. So I'll put this lab admin, I created it. So I have the user now right here. I'm going to go ahead and go to properties, and now add this user, remove it, and add it to administrators. This person is you, so you need to manage these computers. You need to have this account. This is your account. You know the password. You're not sharing this with students, definitely no. And now you have this. Now remember, this is not the only way. This is just a basic way of doing things. There could be better things. There could be better way of doing this. It's just that for someone to start from basic, you need to know basic stuff first. You don't jump to advanced stuff where you are like stuck. Okay, you know what am I doing? How do I do this? Even if I had to do this basic way of this running this lab, I need to run this lab somehow. This is how you do it. Like I said, if you put more softwares in there, if you put more ability in there, if you have a domain environment, when you made your own domain for your labs only, those are a little bit extra stuff you're doing right now. But right now you don't have resources, and you just want to do things. You want to do your work. You want to make your work easier. This is how you do it, by just using the same features from the Windows it comes with it in the workgroup system, and then use another software to make your life easier. If you were not doing this, then the simple way is to you will have one image, like you have a backup of a computer, and then you're putting that image on each computer and separately managing them. Remember, you can't manage workgroups, so then you're going to go to each computer, log in with the username and password, manage it, and then that's, if you have, let's say, 6 labs with 20 computers, then imagine how much time you're just spending. Let's say I call you and say, you know what, we need Chrome on all of the computers, and let's say you don't have this ability to push out things, software deployment, patches, and all that stuff. If you don't have this ability, and you don't know this stuff, then you're basically doing it just like a normal user. You will basically share this somewhere, or you'll put it on your USB, or you will go to internet to download it. So imagine if it's going to take you about 6 minutes on each computer to do login, downloading, installing, and then 6 multiplied by 20 times multiplied by 6 times, you're going to be spending probably I would say a lot of time. So this is why you can use the same work group method and everything, but you can use other tools that can help you basically help your job, and you will like your job then because you're doing things easy now. Okay, we're still waiting for this to finish up. Okay, then you get to this screen and we'll say type a username. Remember, I want to put the same username, lab admin, and I'll say student computer, and the administrator is lab. Type a password, the same password that I just put in the other computer. Let's just put lab and click next. Okay, I don't want to do updates now because you remember we are not playing around with this machine. We're not using this machine for other things, so I'm just going to keep everything very simple at this point. So at this point, what you're doing right now is you're basically creating this image, right? So what you're doing right now, you're creating on a real machine. You are doing all this installation. Now on a real machine, you're definitely updating things. You're putting everything at once. Now you do this process to create a nice image of that computer. So let's say you spend this time, you probably will spend 40 to 50 minutes or maybe an hour to put the whole softwares the student needs, or anyone who uses that they have specific software. You install all that stuff, and you will get all that time. At the end, you will probably want to create an image of it, and that's something we're going to cover later on, because we want to cover everything that on a real machine, not on a virtual system. So at this point, remember, we're just doing very basic stuff. So, but I'm just going to tell you guys that in reality, you will be making this as a nice image in your lab environment. Then you take the image and then you do the other stuff. So we have our first student machine ready right now at this point, okay? And we call this computer a student computer. This is a student computer, and we got this machine almost running right now. Now while this is running, we will go back to our here with our system. Now one thing that I would really want to wait for this is to come up, and then I will turn this machine off, because then your computer will be a little faster, because right now it's using 1 gig of your computer. Right now, whatever your computer is using, the memory it's using, and then that virtual machine is also grabbing 1 GB. And remember, my computer only have 2 GB, so right now my computer is like screaming. What should I do? Should I do this, or should I do the virtual one? So this is why we are going to wait for this to come up for the first screen, and then we will shut this machine down, and then we're going to do installation on the other desktop central installation. Okay, so now we have Windows 7 up and running. Let's go ahead first check the IP address. Is it on the same network? So you will go to CMD and we'll type ipconfig, and no, actually no, yeah, it's not. It's 169.24. That's not the IP address actually I wanted. So let's go ahead and close this. We don't want to do this right now. We'll change this later on. Okay, so now everything is off. What we want to do, we're going to go back to our browser or downloads, where we downloaded our Manage Engine Desktop Central. Now remember, this is a master computer, so this could be your teacher computer, this could be some other computer that you can manage things from. So this is your computer to manage computers, okay? So this is why you're going to be putting this on one machine. You're not doing this on client machine. This is like the administrator part. So if you're using Windows 7, you get this prompt, click on more option and say run anyway. Then you get another prompt. You say yes, and let's minimize this, and let's see what it will ask for. So click on next, click yes, you accept all the agreement. Use it on your own risk, and then you can change if you want this, but I'll keep everything default. You need to make sure this port is up and running. There's nothing else running on this port, so 8020, I'll keep it default. If there's nothing on your computer running, then you can just leave it default. Don't play around with anything, firewalls or anything like that. We're going to be taking care of that later on. Right now, not right now. So first run this and make sure that this software is up and running. So it takes a little time, but as you can see, you'll see icons are coming up, things are getting installed, ports are showing up now, so that kind of tells you that it's probably working. I am going to skip the registration for now. Yes, I am going to start it, and I'll just wait for this. And it's pretty nice because it's web-based, so you can access, once you have this running on a system, it could be a server, you don't want to access it all the time, then you can just, remember the link, put a shortcut, and then you can access it from your main computer, which you use every day for your emails, and you can check it from here too. So that's a cool feature that it comes with. Just like Spikesworks, some other cool softwares they run with their web-based, so this is also the same way, but it's also very powerful. Once you get you know how to use it, you can save tons amount of time. I mean, you can just save almost everything. Your job will be really easy if you're entry level. I mean, of course, if you know this, you know how to do deployments, you might know better ways to do things, but for entry level, when you do things the harder way and you find an easy way to do things, it gives you more time to study, more time to advance. So we're just waiting for the link to pop up. Let's see if it's running. It's still doing its thing, starting right now, so give it a second, it will come up. And let's see, it's still doing it, yeah. Okay, so now it changed from running to starting to running. At this point, yeah, there you go. I was just thinking about it. Why didn't it come up? But yeah, there you go. So now you are on this page. It comes with a default admin username and admin password, which probably you might want to change if you're doing this for using it at work. Definitely you want to change this, but if you're doing testings and everything to learn things, then you can just leave it admin and click on sign in. And once you sign in, this is what we talked about in the first video. Remember, we talked about patch management, we talked about software deployment, we talked about inventory, we talked about tools, reports, everything in one area right now. And like I said, you have 25, you can use this for one computer, and then if you have, let's say, 20 computers in one lab, you can use one other computer, put this installation on another computer. I know it's not a great way to do things, but if you have no other option, then I think it's great then, because if it's gonna save me to go to 60 computers to install one thing, then I'd rather go to 3 computers and just shoot it out from that 3 computers to other 30 computers. So imagine how much time I'm saving there. So you do things to make your life easier. It's nothing. There's no there might be people who are way experts in this stuff, and they might be doing things, but they spend a lot of years. They spend they did it the hard way. So if you ask them, they'll tell you how hard it is to get information. So use this information for your own benefit here. Like, patch management system. I don't want you guys to get stuck to this patch management system and say, oh, you know what, this is the only way and I'm gonna get stuck here, I don't know what to do. You should learn about patch management system when you go online, and that's something we cover in other courses in details, how to do things, how to do advanced things, make your career go ahead. So what you get here, you have a little how to things, what do you need to do to manage. So see right here, it tells you install agent in a workgroup computers. This is what we were talking about. You can also Active Directory in a remote office. So we're in this situation right here. We're dealing with labs, so we're on workgroup computers. Then you have managed desktop, which is basically you can install software patch, firewall services, security policies, asset vulnerability is another big one that it comes with, and it gets all the other things that you really need to manage computer labs. So easy. So in the next video we will turn this part 3, we will turn this one on again, and then we will fire up our client machine, then we will install the agent on it, and then we will stop managing it, and we will just think that we have 20 computers and we're managing it. This is how we're going to think from now on. So thank you for watching. I know it's a big video, so I'm going to turn it off and see you guys in part 3. Bye bye.